Hey, welcome to episode 9. In this episode, we are tackling the ground type Pokemon, this time with a voiceover. I will try my best to explain the process behind the modeling. In this case, normally I start with the head. For this, I will use a UV sphere. Using the grab brush, I must get the shape of the ears and the nose. Try to use low resolution at this stage. This will make the grab brush more effective. Typically, I use spheres for all things that have an organic shape. This technique is key. You will be seeing me using this a lot. First, add a single vertex and extrude it in the overall shape. Then you can use a skin modifier with a subdivision surface modifier for a less blocky result. You can control the radius of the vertex with Ctrl A. This radius is basically how thick the skin is around the vertex. As you can see, you can make legs and arm fast with this technique. I first use this for the blockout and get the proportions right, then refine it further with sculpting. Another thing to notice is that this technique is very useful for claws and teeth. Once you are happy with the proportions, you can go to object mode and apply all the modifiers with Ctrl A and selecting visual geometry to mesh. Keep in mind that these models are supposed to be made fast, like speed running. So the most important thing is form and shape. I will be doing some details, but not too many. For the separation of the plates of the armor, I select some edges and move them inwards. This is only possible because the model is very irregular. This will not be possible, for example, for the head, because the quad layout is not clean. And this is a very useful technique. I mask the area that I want to push inward and then invert it with Ctrl I. Then I can push with any brush. And I don't need to worry about the area around the ear in this case. For the parts that I don't have clean geometry, I will use the crisp brush to make the separations. As you can hear, this is my first time doing a voiceover, so please bear with me. Let me know if you find this kind of tutorials useful, so I can continue doing them. Given that I don't have too much time to do the proper topology, UV mapping and texture, I will be painting the models with vertex painting. Note that in Blender you must use the sculpt mode to paint, because the vertex painting mode is too slow. So that's it, we made it. This is the final result. This will be another quick model. In this case, I will try to only use spheres and sculpting. This time I have a different approach. It is useful to change between modeling techniques so you can gain more practice and don't get stuck with only one type of making things. I think I went too high resolution too fast. You will be seeing me struggling a little with the proportions because of that. The good thing about this challenge is that you get to use your imagination a lot, because you are only using one reference, and the need to fill the missing information helps to develop shape perception. And like it's a little tricky at first, but with practice you will get better at transforming 2D image to 3D models. For me, that's the whole point of doing these kind of videos. of painting and into the final result. To be honest with you, I don't think that this model turned out the way that I like, but at least I have gained some practice, so that's cool. Up next, we have a very good deal, 2 for the price of 1. In this case, I only will be using modeling. If you notice, Blender has a rock generator included in extra objects. I use this to create a bunch of rocks quickly to achieve what you are seeing. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you want to paint details, for example the eyes, you will need more geometry to be able to do that. I think that this Pokemon is relatively simple for a beginner. Try to make it yourself. I don't have a lot to say about this next one. It's basically copy and paste 2 times and put it together. This one, in the other hand, is a real challenge. It's more complex and have a lot of features. Once again, I will start with the head, but in this case I want to make first the entire body to have a real feel for the proportions. I don't want to repeat myself, but notice that I'm using the same technique of the vertex and the skin modifiers for the arms and legs. And for the tail, of course, it's the same technique. In this case I'm sculpting what I can see in the reference. I will not pay too much attention to the back at first. In case you're wondering, I use a graphic tablet in combination with the mouse. I think it's easier to sculpt with the tablet. The one I have is a very basic one, it's a Wacom Intus, the small one. I think it's the cheapest option. Making all the main parts first, and then I adjust the proportions. For this it's useful to add a reference to the viewport. This way you can match individual parts of the model. As you can see, my proportions were way off. I always try to adjust the overall shape of the model all at once. I don't want to concentrate too much in just one part. You can use the snake tool to make the spikes of the ear. Quick way to combine the shapes is to join them with Ctrl J and then remesh the object with Ctrl R. This is another cool way to extrude a shape. First, mask the area that you want to extrude, invert the mask, and use the function pivot to mask border, so you can use the move tool to achieve the extruding. So here we have our final Pokemon for this episode. Tell me, what Pokemon do you want to see next? Thank you a lot for watching. See you in the next episode.